Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I, C.A. Jaswinder Singh, on behalf of the Professional Skills Enrichment Committee, ICAI, welcome all the participants in today's webcast, Decoding Business Source Success, Power BI as the new lens for consultants. I welcome to today's resource person, C.A. Alok Sethi, and others present over here. And I extend heartiest welcome.
We
Hello.
welcome to our chairman, Professional Skills Enrichment Committee, CA Jay Chera, and CA Avay Chhajar, Vice Chairman, Professional Skills Enrichment Committee, and CA Sanjeev Sanghi, Central Council Member, ICA. We are glad to announce that on the event of the World Youth Skills Day, we have with us our chairman and vice chairman all together along with CA Sanjeev Sanghi. Right now, I request to CA Jayachera, Chairman Professional Skills Enrichment Committee, to address the gathering.
Friends, a very good afternoon to all of you.
Good
It's a
afternoon.
great day today. Yeah. Jaswinder Singh ji, Alok Sethi ji, and all my dear friends. It's a great day today. It is the World Youth Skills Day today. Friends, in our profession, we have proved to the world that when it comes to domain expertise, chartered accountants are the best. Maybe audit, maybe tax, maybe law, whatever, we have proved our mettle to the world. But equally important along with domain expertise are professional skills. ICAI has kept a particular committee, Professional Skills Enrichment Committee, which looks after development of our members in terms of the various skills. Today, I'm very happy to say that we have programs across the country on this particular day. More than 120 branches are having physical program today on various professional skills. And along with that, we have the webinar series also. I have with me Vice Chairman of the committee, CA Abhay Chhajar ji, and I have CA Sanjeev Sanghi ji, Council Member. And I would request Sanjeev Bhai to enlighten us today on our topic.
Thank you so much, Jay sir, the chairman of Professional Skills Enrichment Committee, Abhay Chhajar, vice chairman of this committee. I can see Sambit Mishra ji, the secretary, Jaswinder ji, coordinating the entire session. Alok Sethi, a very old friend of mine, who is also a speaker of today's session, and the topic today is very, very relevant for the professionals who are going to go beyond numbers. Now, let me tell you something very important. Today, I was addressing one very important session at Ahmedabad branch, and the topic of that session was be a gate for the organization. When you talk about gate, it's about growth mindset, agility. We talk about technology, and we talk about engagement and entrepreneurship. Now, when we talk about Power BI, and when you want to create the first impression, we go back to a client and say, you know what, how about getting all your information, data, and your decision making in one single screen, which is real time. Think about a situation. If you go and knock a door of any single client who has got maybe 10 or 15 stores, an inventory management system, a CRM, a cloud-based system, and multiple applications going together. How about we as chartered accountant understanding the business objectives, go back, and today Alok is going to demonstrate that in front of you. Go back and connect all this system into a single dashboard using Power BI, and then the client is going to see a one single screen. And the reason behind that is we have a very less attention span today. If we go back and see 100 pages or 100 screens to take decision and get information, it's not going to work. So the idea for we to get inside any organization, be a gate for any organization, is to learn these skills. And one of the tools behind that is Power BI, which allows you to connect with multiple systems and create those KPIs, which are key performance metrics or key performance indicators, benchmarking, scorecard, and many other graphical insights which will help the entrepreneurs take right decision at the right time. This is a time when we have to think that how we can move upwards from hindsight, which is working on the historical data, towards insight, and then moving upwards towards foresight. And in the process of insight, this Power BI plays a very, very important role. I wish the entire audience, the participants who have joined this session, a very, very good learning. I can assure you that this is just the beginning. There is a long way to go. Once we are completed with Power BI, there are sessions on Tableau, there are sessions on many other tools like Alteryx and many other stuff which you can get yourself pro on, and then you can go back to the organization and say, yes, I understand your business, I can measure your business, I can measure the success, and I can take the business forward. With that, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, and over to the chairman of this committee.
Thank you very much, Sanjeev Bhai. And now I request Vice Chairman of the committee, C. Abhay Sajed ji, to interact with the audience.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Jay sir, the chairman of the Professional Skill Enrichment Committee. And Alok, you still have to wait for a couple of more minutes to start your session because I am there in the middle. So thank you so much, Alok, for accepting our invitation, sparing your valuable time. Of course, it is a very important session today when we have on webinar. We talk about Power BI, we talk about consulting. I think that's most important for members to know. And of course, Jaswinder ji, thank you once again for being here as a moderator. The office, of course, keep bothering. And then, it's truly an opportunity for any moderator to moderate a session with an excellent, eminent speakers of someone like Alok, who's so experienced and who's been speaking for committees for last many years. So I think a lot has been spoken by Jay Bhai and of course Sanjeev also. More importantly, the idea of having these webinars is how we can connect, bring best of our experts in domain on screen who speak about the professional skill. And I think that is what the opportunity this webinar gives. It's not always important that we have physical programs. This is an opportunity. Weekly webinars being organized by Professional Skill Enrichment Committee. Almost 20 plus have been done in last 3 months. Excellent response being received and so much good feedback for speakers and topics which we as a council member feel proud that yes, we've organized. And I think this is really helping members to upskill. We talk about data analytics, we talk about strategic planning, we talk about financial management, we talk about IT management, or any sector. I think the consulting is now the key. It's not just those traditional practice. We talk about income tax, we talk about GST audit, but I believe consulting also is now becoming a core area for members to practice. And I'm sure this session would really help members to understand the Power BI, the consulting opportunities which we have. And I can only say that the skills or upskilling is not optional anymore. It has to be a part of your journey. You have to keep upskilling, you have to keep upgrading. I think that is what the key is, and I can say it's a passport to a sustained success. That is what I can say when you keep upskilling yourself. So I believe Jay Bhai, the chairman, mentioned about number of programs physically being done across India. I think it's the participants' response, the acceptability of events. Whoever is there today listening to Alok ji, moderated by Jaswinder ji, all the participants, sincerely from my side, from Jay's side, thank you. Always been there as a participant and encouraging these speakers to come and speak on topic, which is really interesting and need of an hour. So I once again welcome Alok Bhai, Jaswinder ji, thank you so much, and the office for taking this very important webinar. And I'm sure the session would be excellently be accepted by the participant, and we'll have more opportunities to hear the experts again and again. So once again, thank you so much, all of you, for joining, and everybody for happy learning for next couple of hours. Thank you.
Thank you, Abhay sir. Now, I welcome today's resource person, CA Alok Sethi, and other members present over here. Alok Sethi is a highly accomplished corporate trainer with over a decade of experience specializing in training and development across banking, financial services, insurance, and multiple technical domains. He has delivered impactful training programs aimed at empowering professionals and enhancing organizational productivity through workplace automation, financial literacy, data analytics, and strategic problem solving. As a dynamic speaker and thought leader, he has successfully aligned corporate learning initiatives with business goals, ensuring tangible results and improved performance outcomes. He has expertise in structuring, drafting, and negotiating agreements to mitigate risk and protect business interests, and expertise in advanced Excel, financial forecasting, P&L interpretation, and valuation models like DCF and CAPM. He has comprehensive knowledge and delivery of sessions on income tax, GST amendments, and case laws. CA Alok Sethi is skilled in drafting and reviewing legal documents, focusing on accuracy, compliance, and alignment with organizational goals. He is proficient in VBA, Power Query, and integrating Excel with AI and Power Automate for task optimization. Now I shall request CA Alok Sethi ji for his deliberation. Thank you.
So before Alokji you start, just quick 30-second information would like to share with members that with the initiative of Chairman Jaybai and myself and of course the office, we will very soon launching a certificate course on business consulting. In next 1 month, this course will be launched. Members, participants interested may go to the website of ICI. Once these are launched, I'm sure members would be interested to register for themselves. This is a certificate course. Thank
Yeah,
you.
this is a very good initiative, which we had discussed at the last meeting last month, I suppose.
Yes, yes.
And
Thank you. Over to you, Alokji.
thank you.
Thank you, the chairman of this committee, Jay sir, and also Abhay bhai and Sanjeev ji, a good friend of mine. And I remember he had organized one digital mindset conference in Kolkata way back in 2022, and I was a speaker on Power BI. So we can see how important the topic is, as correctly mentioned by the committee and the speakers. What we need, what a business needs from a chartered accountant is not just the statutory compliances or filing of returns, but it is always equally important for a chartered accountant to become a consultant, a business consultant for his clients, and can help him take decisions, business decisions, wherein CA can help any business to understand where is the business going. And as Sanjeev bhai mentioned, that you can become the gateway to the business. You can actually tell more about the business by looking at the numbers, because we have that quality. We are chartered accountants and we are very good at numbers, but so far we are looking at the numbers from the point of view of profit, sales, turnover, compliances, whether we need to take GST, whether we have to go for audits and all. But it's time to go beyond. And what a wonderful day they have selected for this session. It's a World Youth Skill Day. And when we talk about skill, now I would like to share my presentation. And let's talk first about what skills are actually and how we can work on our skill, because there are two things which are required to succeed in life, I believe. One is a skill which you acquire, which you can acquire by attending these sessions, by going to various seminars, webinars, doing upskilling courses, as mentioned by the chairman also, that they are coming up with a business consulting course. And that is a very welcome initiative and a good move by the institute to enhance the skill set of the members. And that is the need of the industry also. So I welcome all the members who are watching this webinar to this session on decoding business success, Power BI as a new lens for consultant. So before I deal into Power BI, or before we start talking about it, let's talk about skill and why skills are important. So skill help you in sharpening, continuously refining your potential through learning and practice. When you are developing any skill, you are actually enhancing on your knowledge base, building a strong foundation of domain expertise and awareness. So we as CAs have a very good domain expertise on the various academic regulations, rules, procedures, and now comes technology. With AI being in the forefront of everything, it is very important to upskill oneself on the technological front as well. And this committee is doing a lot in this domain. So, innovation, applying creative thinking to solve real world problems. And I always say that now CA should start calling themselves as creative accountants, because now we are going to create a lot of things, a lot of visuals we are going to see now, a lot of analysis, anomaly detection, and all these things. So, yes, innovation is what is indeed required. Then also skill lead to leadership, and you develop the ability to inspire, influence, and derive change. And then what I believe is important in life is the lifelong learning. Okay, so learning is a journey and not a destination. So we can never say, okay, I've qualified as a CA. Now let me take a rest for a year. I'll not learn anything. I'll not do any course. It is never the case. The more you learn, I say the more you earn. So if you want to earn more, then you have to definitely learn more. And before the earning, the word earning, if you look at the spelling of the word earn, EARN, it is preceded by LEARN. So first you learn, then you drop the L, and then you start earning. So this is how you have to go ahead and work on your skill set. Now, before I start this session, let me take you out to a very, very basic question. And the question is this: how many of you use this phone? Are you still using this Nokia phone? Okay. So I know that it is a webcast and you cannot speak, but if you can put the responses in the chats, and if I have the access to that, that will be easier for me to connect with the audience. Okay. So are we still using these phones? The answer is basically no. No one is using a Nokia phone unless you have kept this phone as a antique and you want to show it to your kids that once upon a time I used to have this phone. Even the first one phone that I bought was Nokia. Okay. Now, what is the reason why we are not using this phone? So the answer is big no. We are not using the phone. But what is the reason? The reason is that Nokia did not update itself. It did not change or adapt what was required, and that is why people have stopped using this phone. And I say that people और लोगों ने नोकिया को नो किया. ओके, सो यू हैव डन नो, यू हैव सेड नो टू नोकिया बिकॉज नोकिया ने अपडेट नहीं किया. ओके, एंड दैट इज व्हाट कैन हैपन टू एनीवन. इफ यू डोंट अपडेट योरसेल्फ, पीपल विल से नो टू यू. They will not would not like to connect with you for your services if you're not updated. And that is why what we need to do, we have to update. So when you have said no to Nokia, what you have said yes to? So you have said a yes to an iPhone or a Samsung or a Oppo, Vivo, and you have updated. You are updated to a smartphone, right? So the phones are getting smarter. Are we getting smarter? Are our skill set getting smarter? That is what we need to ask ourselves. Now, what do you see next? Okay, so I believe that you all have your lunch. Okay, or you all had your lunch. Now, what do you see this? You people will say that it's a raw potato. Okay, you can see potato. Maybe someone will say we see a gold, correct? But it's a potato. It's a raw potato. But why I'm showing you this potato over here? Because I want to ask you a very relevant question over here. And the question is, can you consume what you just saw? So we saw this potato, a bunch of potato, but can we consume it in the same format, in the same form? The answer is obviously no. We cannot consume it in the same format, right? Why? Because what? Because it is unprocessed. Okay. Now, if I show you these images now, tell me what would be your answer. So if I show you something like this, or something like this, or even a paratha, or your favorites, everyone favorites samosas. Okay, so all these are ingredients, all these are finished product cooked from one basic ingredient, that is potatoes, correct? So if I ask you, can you consume what you just see? And the answer would be what? Yes. So what was the difference between the picture which I showed you and this picture? The difference is in the processing. It is processed. Okay. So once anything is processed, we can consume it because it is it is tasty, it is good looking, okay, and it is fulfilling. Now, let us connect and let me ask you the same question. If you look at this data, can you consume this data? Can you get some meaningful insights from this data just in the same format as it is presented? The answer is obviously no. We cannot get any meaningful insight from this data until and unless we do some calculations, we create some pivots, we create some charts, we create some 10 charts and something like that. Correct? What if I tell you, can you process this data? You would say yes, we can process. And which application are you going to use to process this data? You would say, sir, MS Excel. Excel has been a widely used tool or application across the globe for data analysis. But as mentioned by Sanjeev Bhai, that now the world is changing and a lot of tools are coming, and Institute is also coming up with a lot of courses, a lot of upskilling programs, like we have one today on Power BI. So similarly, we have Tableau, we have Alteryx, we have Google Analytical Studio. So a lot of tools are already available. Still, Excel is being used, but it has certain limitations. So if I tell you that I've processed this data and I show you this visual, okay, so this, now can we make sense of the data? So we can easily see that the sales is 2.3 million, the quantity sold is 38,000, and the profit is 286.34k. And you can see the trend of the sales, see by year or quarter by quarter. You can see the profit by subcategory, you can see the profit by segment, profit by region, profit by category, and then you can have a matrix wherein you are seeing the subcategory wise sales for each region, okay, and then it is dynamic. That means what? You can select any state and it will change. So it is interactive, dynamic, and a good visual representation for taking decisions. So you don't have to look at multiple pages or multiple reports. Everything is in front of you in one image itself. So what makes it possible? So there is a tool which makes it possible, and that is Power BI. And that is what we are going to discuss today, as how Power BI can be useful. If you learn Power BI and if you follow it in practice, it can be a good new stream of revenue for chartered accountants when they start their consulting. So many chartered accountants are already into consulting, and they are doing consulting. But when you do consulting, you use different applications or softwares or something like that, right? But what we need to do is we need to look into how beautifully we can use this powerful application to do some analysis. Now, I'll be taking you to the basics of Power BI, and then I'll be showing you some practical demo as to how we can use Power BI for doing consultation, for understanding the numbers, for finding out if there are any anomalies, to forecast the sales or the profit, to understand where the business is heading and how we can get the maximum benefit from the trend. So let's deep dive into it. Why to learn Power BI? Because to get some useful insights from any data and turning data into a business advantage. So when we talk about BI is business intelligence. Okay. So now we are learning how to do business intelligently, or we are learning how to help our client do the business intelligently, because nowadays the business is being done online, virtual, on the key e-commerce platforms, and a lot of data is being generated and a lot of data is being tracked to understand where the demand is coming from, which product is more being looked after or which is in demand. So that all is possible with the use of this software. The world of data is changing, and you see that over the 5 years there is a 10x increase in the volume of data. 85% of the data is coming from new data types. There is a concept of big data, consumerization of IT. On an average, an individual uses around 3 to 4 devices to communicate, right? And it is being said that by year 2025, the current year, Organizations that build a modern information management system will outperform their peers financially by 50%. Okay. So you'll outperform your peers by 50%. Everyone should have access to the data they need. Okay. So you should have an access to the data you need. And access is possible when we are having the control of the system, we can easily get the data. But what we do with the data, that is more important. So basically, what we are doing with the data, we are visualizing it, we are discovering what is there in the data, and then we are also analyzing it. So all of these things can be done in Excel also. We can create some charts, some dashboards, some interactive dashboards in Excel. But Excel has a limitation. You can only put a 1 million record of data into Excel, and with the business being scaled to a larger volume, now we have a lot of data coming in, correct? So we cannot just rely on Excel. We have to go to other applications as well. And Power BI comes to your rescue over here because Power BI doesn't have any limitation as to how many records, line number of records you can put into Power BI. Secondly, it has an inbuilt AI feature inside Power BI wherein you can create some visuals by using NLP, natural language processing. You just write your query to Power BI and it will create some good visuals for you for analysis. We are going to look into it into detail. Okay. So what are the steps in data analysis? Okay. So I've called it as DAVE, DAVE. Okay. Now, whatever we understand, whatever we learn by attending any session or any seminar, okay, how do we remember that? Okay. How to remember whatever we are learning? So the best way to remember is to actually write, or basically if I show you some visuals, you'll be able to remember it. Okay. As we remember the Bollywood numbers, the Bollywood movies, we remember the cricket scores of the your favorite batsman. uh, Similarly, you can remember all these things also. Okay. So I'll just take the example from a Bollywood movie, which is this movie Dhadkan, okay, which has three characters. And I think the famous one is Anjali, right? Shilpa Shetty, and then we have Sunil Shetty called as Dev, and then we have Akshay Kumar. Now, why they're doing here? What they're doing here? I just want to concentrate on Dev because Dev uh, went to US abroad to earn money, and when he returned back, he became Dave. So, what is the Dave? A Dave in Power BI. So, when we talk about Dave, it is a four-step process: discover, analyze, visualize, explore. Okay. So, when you are looking at data, when you are looking at the your client data, it can be a sales data, it can be purchase data, it can be fixed asset register, it can be a cash book, or any other data that you look into. What you need to do is you need to discover what the data is talking about, what where the trend is going. So you discover what all columns are there in a table, which all is relevant, what is not relevant, what is dimension, what is the measure, all these things. Once you do the discovery, then you analyze the data. Now, what do we mean by analysis? Analysis means finding out the trend, taking out some meaningful information inside from the data. Let's say if I talk about the sales last year was 5 crores, now it is 10 crores. That means the sale has doubled. So this is analysis. Okay. Our profits were 20%, now it is 15%. So it is declined by 5%. So it is again analysis. So first you discover, then you analyze. Now, in analysis, sometimes it is required to combine different files. Maybe you are having different locations and different sales are happening from there. So a different file would come. You need to connect them, create a model, and then work around. Then we need to visually present the data so that it becomes understandable and it can be easily explored. Okay, as to like which locations are doing good business, which locations are not doing so good business, and what is to be done next. So now let us deep dive into the practical of Power BI. And now I'll be sharing you how you can install Power BI in your system. It is a free application, free to use to create. But when you want to share the data, maybe you have to take a subscription. But for learning and understanding and working internally, it is a free tool to use. So allow me to share my screen again, and I am going to share my window wherein you will be able to see the Power BI desktop, how to install it. Okay. So I'm sharing my window again. And now you would be able to see the Microsoft website. We are on the Microsoft website, and here you have an option of Microsoft Power BI desktop. You can select the language which you want to work with. So basically, we select English and then we click on download. And then there are two options. So ideally, one should select the 64-bit file Power BI desktop setup, and then you can click on download. Once it is downloaded, you can install it. Alternatively, you can go to Microsoft Store also. From there also you can download and install. So once you install Power BI, when you type Power BI in your start menu, you will see this icon Power BI desktop. It is a three bar going in the upward direction, yellow color bar. We will click on this and the Power BI application will start. So it is loading. It is a product by Microsoft, and I would like to tell you a fact about Power BI. That is what it was launched in the year 2013, but in 2025 also only hardly let's say 20-25% people are aware about this product. Okay, now it is becoming very popular because of the huge demand and the need for visualization or creating visual reports. So when you open Power BI, you would be able to see this screen. This is the first interface, first screen of Power BI when you open Power BI. Now you have to select a data source or start with a blank report. Now, the most important thing about Power BI is that it can connect with around 180 plus data sources. Yes, you heard me right. It is 180 plus data sources. So some of the common data sources are available or are listed over here. But when you click on get data from other sources, you will be able to see a list of sources through which you can connect to your Power BI. Okay. So I'll show you what all sources are available through which you can connect. So most importantly, it is Excel or CSV or text file or XML or JSON or folder or PDF. Then you can connect data from SharePoint, from your Google BigQuery, from your SAP, HANA, from Snowflake, okay, data flows. There are some semantic models, Google Analytics, Salesforce. So you name the company and here it is Bloomberg. Okay. So it has a wide stream of connectors through which you can connect the data. Even you can connect the data from Tally and use the data for analysis through the ODBC connector. Okay. Right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to use the sample data. Okay. For analysis, and we will create some visuals. We will create some reports as to show you how this can be an important skill to learn. And obviously, we are not learning just for the fun of it. We are going to use it as well for consultation, for business consultancy. So here, as the topic is decoding the business success through the lens of Power BI, I will be talking about the analysis of sales data. Okay, so we will use a sample data to start with. So when we click on sample data, we will be able to load our sample data. So when you install Power BI, Power BI has an inbuilt data source which is the sales data of a e-commerce uh, organization or a web or a store, and we are going to analyze that. So here it is financials. It's a table. Okay, it's an Excel table. So financial sample.xls is the file. Okay, when I click on financials, you will be able to see the various columns that we have. So we have segment, country, product, discount band, units sold, manufacturing price, gross sales, discounts, COGS, sales, profit, date, all these things, right? Now, most people understand that Power BI is a tool for visualization. What they don't know about that is that Power BI has an inbuilt feature or a inbuilt application for transforming the data, and that is called as Power Query. Okay. So until and unless we make sure that the data is clean, complete, usable, reliable, we cannot work on the data. Correct. So first, before loading the data into Power BI, it is always recommended to clean the data, to look at the data, whether it is clean or not, to transform the data. So we click on transform data. As we click on transform data, it opens a Power Query editor. And with this Power Query editor, you will be able to work with the data. You will be able to add certain columns. You will be able to do some changes to the data, some updates to the data. You will be able to add some more insight to the data. And that is what I'm going to show you. And then we are going to build some interesting dashboards, some visuals, so as to go ahead. Now, let me show you, let me have a walk through with this data. And as I told you, we are going to follow a process in data analysis, which I called it as DAVE. So here, DAVE would mean discover, analyze, visualize, and explore. Discover, analyze, visualize, explore. Okay. So when we talk about discovery, so let us discover what data we have. We have different segments. We have a list of countries. So there are 5 countries that we are doing business with. Then there are list of products, discount band, units sold, manufacturing price, sales price, gross sales, discount, net sales, COGS, profit. Then we have the date, and then we have month number and year. Now what I want to do is, so you see that we have different countries, right? So Canada, Germany, Mexico, USA. But the USA name is very big. Okay, it's appearing to be bigger as compared to the other names. So I'm just showing you some of the small tricks of data cleaning or data manipulation using Power Query. Once we are done, in 15 to 20 minutes, we'll be coming back to our Power BI. And then for the next 1 hour, I'm going to show you how you can do analysis and how we can create some meaningful reports from Power BI. So first, what I want to do is I want to replace the United States of America with USA so that it will become easier to read the name, and when we create the visuals, it doesn't appear very long. So what I need to do is I just need to select the cell where we have USA, and I need to go to replace values. Okay. Unlike Excel, we cannot use any formulas or functions or shortcut keys over here, but there are inbuilt UI user interface which you can use. So I just clicked on replace values and I'm replacing the USA with USA, and I click on OK. And what do you see? Then in the country column, we have United States of America getting replaced with USA. So it is saving some space. Okay. Secondly, if you check in the quantity columns, in the sorry, in the columns which where we have amounts, okay, we have sales, COGS, profit, but we do not have the profit ratio. We do not have the gross profit margin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a column wherein we are going to see how to add a column for GP ratio. So to do that, what I will do is I will need to go to my add column option, and there is the option of custom column. So custom column means it will create a column based on some formula. Now we all know that to calculate the profit margin, we are required to divide the profit by the sales. So I'll just say profit divide by sales. Okay. So when I say profit, it means my profit column. Okay. So as I type profit, you would be able to see a column. So we have divided the profit by sales. And now I click on OK. And you see a new column coming up with the profit margin. But it is not appearing in percentage. It is appearing in decimal. So let's convert into percentage. So this is the data type. So as we have 1, 2, 3 over here, it is numeric data. I want to convert this into percentage. I'll click on ABC 1, 2, 3 and I'll click on percentage. And you see now we have a percentage of profit margin. Okay. Now, if I look at the percentage of profit margin, I have some values in negative, then I have a zero, then I have positive values. Okay. So basically, this is a range of your profit. So some of the transactions are resulting into losses, some of the transactions are resulting into profit, and some are having the break even point. Some are at the break even point. So what I want to do is I want to put the profit into three categories: transactions which are profitable, transactions which are loss making, and transactions which are resulting to break even point, so that we can analyze this. So what we are doing is we are learning how to look at the data from the data analysis point of view, and for doing that we have to go beyond what is available. So we have discovered that these are the columns that are available. Now we are trying to find out what all we can add, what all columns I can incorporate. So first column I incorporated is a profit margin. Now I'm going to distribute or categorize this profit into three categories, which is ABC, or which we can call it as profitable, break even, or loss making categories. So to do that, I will again go to my conditional column, and in the conditional column I am going to give it the name as transaction status. So when we create any column, what it does is it goes to each row level data and it reads the row level data, applies the algorithm which you are setting or mentioning over here, and then it gives the result for each row of data. Correct? So here, what logic I want to give is if the profit, if the profit is greater than zero, if the profit is greater than zero, then we can say it is profitable. If the profit is zero, exactly equals to zero, then we will say it is a break even. And if it is a loss, then we can call it as a loss transaction. Okay. So instead of calling it a profitable, I can call it as profit transaction or a break even transaction or a loss transaction. Now, when I click on OK, it gives me a column. Okay, I can just call it as ABC. It's a textual column, and we see it is divided into break even transaction, loss transaction, profit transaction. Now, what I'm supposed to do with this? So, with this, I'll be able to understand how many transactions are profitable, how many are loss, and how many are break even. Now, similarly, if I look at my quantity of sales, quantity ordered, if I look into my units sold, so the unit sold quantity is starting from 200, range of 200, and it is going up to 4492 or 4500, you can say. So what we can do is we can categorize our sales quantity into three buckets. We can categorize the sales quantity into three buckets, and we can call it as, we can do the ABC analysis over here, and we can understand like how much, how many times is the order placed for units more than 3000. So we can call it as high lot order or high value order. If the order quantity is between 1500 and 3000, we can call it as a medium quantity order. And if it's less than 1500, we can call it as a small lot order. So based on my units sold, I'm going to categorize the sales quantity into three categories: high, low, and medium. So let me do that. Again, we are going to add a conditional column over here. And I would like to call it as my sales category or my order size, order lot size. So if the quantity units sold is more than 3000, I want to call it as a lot, high lot size. If the unit sold is greater than 1500, I want to call it as medium lot size. Else, I want to call it as a small lot size. Okay, and now we get one column added, which is the order lot size. Again, I'll convert this into a text column. So here it shows me three categories: medium lot size, high lot size, and a small lot size. And once we do this, now we can close and apply this data and bring it to Power BI. We'll close and apply. So what we have done is we have done the first part, which is discovery. We have discovered what the data is. We have transformed the data. We have added some more columns to the data, and that is how we are going to work on it. Let the data load, then I'll take you forward. Now we can see that the data is loaded. Okay. So we can see the data is loaded. Now I'm on my Power BI, and let me clean this annotations from here. And you can see we have table called as financial, which has come here on the right hand side panel. Now let me take you through a walkthrough of the interface of Power BI. Okay, and we have uh, tabs over here. We have the file tab, home tab, insert, modeling, view, optimize, external tools, right? And we have a ribbon over here. So unlike Excel, similar to Excel, we have this, but we don't have a formula bar. Okay. So you should be happy or sad about it. I don't know. So we do not have a formula bar. That means what? We cannot write anything. We cannot create any formulas. In fact, we don't need any formulas. I'll tell you why. First, let me take you a walk through of this. So we have the home tab, then we have the insert, modeling, view, optimize, home. There are some external tools which you can add to your Power BI. Okay. Now this is a ribbon. Okay, it's a expandable ribbon, so you can put it on and put it off. Okay, we have a copilot also inside the Power BI, and similarly we have a AI model also. Okay, now where is the data? So on the left hand side, you will see four icons over here, five icons. So first is the report view, wherein you build the report. So you can see here it is saying build visuals with your data. Select or drag fields from your data pane onto the report canvas. So you need to drag the data and to the report canvas, and that is how you build a report. Correct? That is a report view. When we come to the table view, you will be able to see the data. You will be able to see the exact data, and it's a 700 row data. So the file which we imported, the sample file, has got 700 rows of data. And we can see that whatever columns we added to the data, they are also visible. So we have the profit margin, we have the sales status, we have the order lot size. Now the profit margin, although we convert it into percentage, but it is not appearing as a percentage, what I can do over here is I can click on this profit margin. When I click on this profit margin, you will be able to see the column tools, and from here I can convert to percentage. And we can see the profit percentage over here, correct? So all these are appearing in the profit transaction. Now if I sort this into the ascending format, you will see a loss transactions, some break-even transactions, and some profit transactions as well. Okay, so we are going to have a deeper look into the data. First, let us come to the report view. Now, when you install Power BI and when you start using it, you will see that your Power BI screen and the screen that you're looking at would be different, because I'm a trainer, I'm a consultant, so my Power BI is updated, much more updated than yours. But you can also do the same settings. Okay, there's nothing like customized tools which I'm using, or paid tools which I'm using, which you cannot use. It is all available to everyone. So I'll show you how you can customize your Power BI before you get started. So we'll click on File menu, and then we'll go to options and settings, and there are some settings which are required to be done. See, what I'm doing is I am not actually just showing you how to do analysis, how to build reports and all. I'm just walking through the basics of Power BI, because I want all those people who are watching this webcast live, or those who will be watching it at certain period of time in the future, you should be able to work along. There's a skill development committee, and we want the skills of the member to be developed, but the skill can be developed only when you have the will, only when you have the willpower to apply what is being taught. If you don't practice what you learn, what you read, what you study, what you see, then it goes waste. Okay, so I would urge all the listeners, all the viewers who are watching this webcast or who will be watching this, don't just watch it, take a note of what I'm doing and do it, practice it, because that is what you're going to get the real benefit of this session, by doing yourself, not just watching things getting done. So we will go to the options, and here you get to see different options. So first we need to go to the preview features, and in the preview features, sorry, in the preview feature, what you need to do is you need to click on object interaction. This generally put off, but you need to turn it on object interaction. Okay, and rest all, you can decide what all you want to tick or untick. You can keep everything ticked. TDML view, prep data for AI. If you don't want this, you can uncheck it. Okay, and do the changes. So there's one setting which is required to be done, that is on object interaction. Yeah, it has to be turned on. Secondly, you can go to your security settings, and in the security settings you should have your use map and field map visuals put on. Otherwise you'll not be able to create any infographics, any map related visuals. Okay, so to create any map related visuals where you can show which locations you are working on or which locations you are getting the business from, you have to turn it on. Now once you do this, you click on OK, and Power BI will message you to restart Power BI. Okay, you have disabled one or more preview features that require restarting Power BI desktop. These changes will take place after you restart the application. So we'll click on OK. We'll click on OK. Okay, and then I want to restart my application. Now what I've unselected is this prep data for AI. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll first save this file, because we have done some transformation. So as not to lose the data, I'll save the file first. I'll save it on my desktop. and I'll call it as PDC, PSEC, and then Power BI session. So now I have saved my file. Now I can close this and restart again. Okay. So I've closed my Power BI. Now let me restart Power BI. So I'll go to Power BI desktop. I'll restart the Power BI application, and you will see the changes that we have done. It will appear. So just let the Power BI reopen. Yes. Now see, when you save any file, it'll show in the recent. It'll show in the recent. You can click on it and it'll open. Now, if you have done the changes, you would see, if you observed my previous screen had the prep for AI. Now I don't see this. Okay, let me just turn off. Let it import the data first. So you will see the data pane. Data is getting imported. So now the data is loaded. But you don't see that prep data, that AI feature over here, right? Now, let me show you how to create the visuals. Since I told you that in the next 15-20 minutes, I'm going to now come to the visualization part. So now next 50-40-45 minutes, we'll be discussing about how to do analysis, how to create a visual. Now to do that, we need to select a container first. We need to select a visual. Okay. So first I would like to start with the KPIs. Okay. So I would like to first put a title to the report. So I'll go to text box. And in the text box, what I will do is I will write, it's a sample superstore. The company name is Sample Superstore. Okay. So I'll call it as Sample Superstore Financial Report. Okay. So let me call it as Sample Superstore Financial Report, and let me give it a color. Let's say blue. So we have created a title for a report. Okay, we have created a title for a report. Now suppose you want to have a background color, okay, on your canvas. What you can do is you can go to the format button over here. You can go to your canvas background and we can select any color. Suppose I want to put this yellow. I need to reduce the transparency level and the color would be visible. Okay. I don't want to see this white background over here. So I can select this title and I can go to format and I can remove the background. So now we have started building our report. So I've selected a yellow background and a blue text. So it should always be like this, light background and a dark font color, or a light font color and a dark background. So you can do anyways. So now we will create KPIs. So my first key performance indicator, first KPI would be my sales figure. So I have selected a box from here. I have selected a card from here. And in this card, I'm going to put my sales number. So I can simply type sales and it's showing gross sales. Let me put gross sales. And you see a number 127.93 million has come. 127.93 million has come. This is the gross sales. Now, let me show you how to make it look better. Okay, how to do some formatting. So we will select this card, we'll go to format, and this call out value, I can reduce the size, I can change the color, I can change the display unit. Suppose you want to see the exact number, you can reduce the size of the units. You want to remove the decimals, you can remove the decimal. But for now, I want to keep it in millions only. So I'll keep it in million, 128 million. If you want to increase the decimal, you can increase the decimal also. If you want to put a background color in the card, you can go to title. You can put a title also. Okay. Let's say gross sales. You want to put the title on top, gross sales. We can have a background color in the title. Sorry, a background color in the title and a foreground color on the text. We can bring it into center. We can increase the font size, and then I don't need the category label. I can turn off the category label. So this becomes my card. Okay, gross sales. I want to have some background color. Then what I can do, I can go to size and style. I can remove the background. So when I remove the background, it will be merged with the yellow background. If I turn on instead of let's say white, I want to have a darker background. I can select this, and in that case, we have to change the color of the values. So I can make it golden. Okay, so this is how my visual has come up. Okay, now I can put a shadow to the visual. I can create a visual border also. So this is how the visual looks like. Okay, so this is the gross sales. If you want to have rounded corner, you can try and experiment with that. Anyways, so we'll copy this visual and paste it near to this. We'll create some copies so that we can have various KPIs over here. So I want to show 5 KPIs: the gross profit, the sales, the GV margin, and all. So this is the sales, gross sales. Now I want to find out the COGS. So I can put COGS over here, COGS. Now I want to get the profit. I can put the profit, and I want to get the profit margin. So instead of having the sum, I can select average. But still showing as numbers, what we can do is we can go back to our table view, and in the profit margin column, it is showing here as journal. We can convert this into percentage. Sorry, the profit margin, not this one. So this one should be number only. Profit margin, I want in percentage. It is already in percentage. That is fine. So I can go to format, call out value, and display units. I can do none. So now it is showing my percentage, profit percentage. So we can see the gross sales. Now I need to change the headers because it is not gross sales in all the categories. The second one is COGS. I can type COGS over here. The third one is profit. I can type profit. And the fourth one is a profit margin. So we have sales, COGS, profit, and GP, profit margin. Now I want to this is the top line item. This is the top or the bottom line. You can say the one uh, uh single numbers you can see over here. Now I want to go deeper and I want to understand how the country wise sales are getting generated, how the profit wise sales are getting generated, how the segment wise sales are getting generated. So what I can do is I can click on my bar chart and I can have a bar chart over here and I can show like what is the status of country wise sales. So I can put country in my y-axis. On my x-axis, I can put sales. So here I get to see the country-wise sales. They're all appearing in single color. What I can do is I can go to legend and I can put country again in the legend. So now the colors have changed. And the same format I want to apply to this chart as well. I can select this, go to format painter and put it again. Okay. So I don't want the sum of gross sales written here. I can just remove the sum of. So it'll be gross sales by country. Okay, so gross sales by country. That is what we want. So I'll remove the word country again from the title. So I just want gross sales by country. Right? But you see that the legends are not visible, and even we don't want to see the legends. So what we can do is we can do some formatting. We can remove the legends and the country labels should be visible. So in the y-axis, I change the color to white and I can increase the size of the text so the country names are easily visible. Okay. Now on the x-axis, even the sales volume, sales value is not visible. So I can go to my x-axis and I can remove the title and the values. I can make it yellow so they become visible. Now you would say, sir, how do we find out what is the sales for each country? So it is showing 272. Here it is showing 269, 260. But I want to see the values just in the bar, inside the bar. What I can do is I can select this visual. I can go to and turn on the data labels and I can position them to the inside end and increase the size of these visuals. You can put a white color so that they become visible and make it bold. So now I can see what is the sales for each country. Similarly, I want to see the sales by segment as well. So here I can bring one more visual. Okay. And this time we are going to bring a column chart. So I'll bring a column chart and I want to see the segment wise sales. So I can put segment wise sales. So on the x-axis, we'll add the segment. On the y-axis, we'll put the sales. In the legend also, I'll put the segment again. Now you see, we have the segment by sales and we can easily find out that the government segment has got the highest sales, then followed by the small business, enterprises, mid-market and channel partners. I can exactly copy the same format and put it over here. We can change the title and I can remove the word sum of. So we can just have gross sales by segment. That's it. And these works well. Government, small business, all these are visible. These are very small, no sales or very low sales. That is why it is not visible. So this is how we have created a simple visual just by dragging and dropping the data into the pane. Dragging and dropping the data into the visuals, we have created this visual. Okay, now I'm going to show you something else. Okay, something more refined, something more detailed, and something more interesting. Okay, so let's deep dive into it. So is this a static report or a dynamic report? So I'm going to work on this now, and I'm going to show you that it is not static, it is dynamic. So what I'm going to do now is we are going to add a slicer. So I'm adding a slicer over here. I'm adding a slicer over here. And the slicer I would like to select as, you remember we created our sales category. So we created a order lot size. So let me click on order lot size, and we can have one slicer of this order lot size. Similarly, I'll have one more slicer, and this we are going to put the transaction status. Now these slicers are going to give life to my data. So let me just select the same format for the slicers as well. So I'll call it as order lot size. So select any order lot. And here we'll call select transaction type. Okay, so let me just quickly format these slices and then I'll show you how it works. So we will put a different background, a light color background. Yeah, something like this. Here also, I'll reduce the background color. Yes. And we don't want this to be visible. So I can remove the slicer header and I can increase the size or the values in the slicer. So we will increase the slicer's values size. We can make them bold. So same feature will apply here also. Great. Now see the magic. So what I'm doing is I want to see the high lot size sales. What is the total sales coming from the high lot? I click on high lot and you see it is only 8 million sales with a 0.69 million profit and the GP ratio is 23%. When we come to medium lot size, it is 81 million sales. When we come to small lot size, it is 38 million sales. When I talk about break-even transactions, so the break-even transactions is where the profit is zero, and we have gross sales and COGS almost equal to same. So from the medium category, it is just 30.37 million sales. Okay, from France, coming from one country only, and there is no large lot. There is only medium and uh, small lot. When we talk about lost transactions, every country is giving the lost transaction, and then we can find out in the high lot, small lot, something like that, and we can click on the profit transactions so as to get the profit transaction. Now let's say I want to analyze how many orders, number of orders we have from this category. So we realize that we don't have any space here. What we can do is we can go to the canvas settings, and in this custom we can select custom and increase the width of this. So I can make it 1320, or rather 1480, and we have some more space. I can copy this visual, and I want to have the number of orders. So in this call out value in the build tab, instead of profit, we can select the count of transactions. So I want to have the count of orders. So I can select the unit sold, and we can find out the unit sold number, the quantity basically, sum of units sold, and I can put it into thousands, or we can decrease the size of this, and I don't want any decimal places, so I can change the profit margin to quantity or unit sold. So if I talk about medium lot size, it's 6,72,000 units sold, 76,000 units sold, lost transactions, how many units are getting sold, and all these things, right? So this is how you build a visual. Okay. Suppose I want to bring any logo of the company, I can go to insert, and we can add a logo to our dashboard. Okay, let's say it's a Walmart data, I can add Walmart logo. I can put it here. Okay, so that is how I can add a logo to my company also. Okay, and now we have already mentioned that this becomes an interactive dashboard. So I can select anything. I can remove the filters as well. When I click outside, all the filters get removed, and we can see the entire numbers. So this is one visual, there's one set of visual which I have created. Now I'll show you some more interesting visuals which are available in Power BI, okay, and how they can help us in data analysis. So this page one, I can call it as APIs. Now I want to have the sales trend analysis of sales. So for the trend analysis, we will put sales. We will put a line chart, and on my line chart, I'll put x-axis date, and we can drill down to the date level. We'll just select date, and in the y-axis, I'll put sales. So now it is showing me this chart. So I can easily tell the management, say, look, you started in September 13 with a sales of around 44 million, 4 million. Then it went to 9 million. Then it was to 5 million. or 7 million, something like that. Okay, so this is how you can predict, you can trend, you can show the trend. Then in October it was at peak and it declined in November, and then so there are different region, there are different places, numbers that we can predict over here, see over here. Now I can also add the data labels, so I can turn on the, you can shape, you can put a color on the area, you can put on the data labels so that the labels are visible, you can make them bold. Okay, and we can make it bold also. So this actually shows the management like what, how the sales is happening. Okay. Now along with the sales, I want to see the profit line also. I can add the data relating to my profit as well. So I can, on my y-axis or the secondary y-axis, I can put profit. So now along with my sales, it is showing the profit as well. So the darker blue shade is the profit and the lighter one is the sales. So sometimes you will see the profit is exceeding the sales and sometimes the sales is exceeding the profit. Okay. So like that. So you will be able to understand how is the gap, what is the margin we are having. Where there is a huge margin, you will see the sales and profit have a distance. Correct? Now this I want to analyze for various countries. So I can put a slicer over here and I can put the country in the slicer. So I see various countries over here: Canada, France, Germany, USA, Mexico. Now let me select Canada and this chart will change. France, again this chart is same. So France has very high points and low points, similar to Germany, Mexico, USA. Okay. So this is all dynamic. Okay. Similarly, if you want to analyze the various segments also, we can copy this slicer and then in the next slicer, I can put, instead of the country, I can put segment. And then we have the various segments like channel partners, enterprise. So we can select channel partners. It will show what is the sales happening in channel partners, in government, in mid market, in small business. Okay. So that is how Power BI helps you do a analysis of the business. We can get into very detailed, minute details. Okay. And based on that details, we can actually help our client understand how the business is happening, where he can improvise, where he can focus on, what all areas of product he should market on. Okay. So we can select multiple parameters together and we can do this analysis. So this is the trend analysis. And now I'll show you something interesting and the AI feature inside the BI. Okay. Now AI is has been a buzzword. So now let me show you where is the AI enabled feature in Power BI. So when we go to the visuals, there are 40 plus visuals which you can use. Here we have AI visuals. And in the AI visuals, the one which I like is the decomposition tree. Before I come to decomposition tree, let me show you the Q&A. So Q&A is an inbuilt Q&A that talks, that analyzes your data and gives you some questions to be answered. So let's say if I say total units sold, if I just click on it, it'll give me the total units sold value. So just wait for it, the answers to come. So it is showing me total units sold is 11,28,000. Now, if I say total units sold by product, So I'm just typing, and you see it has given me a bar chart for each product. So I can see the sales by each product, Passio, PTD, Velo. Now I don't want to see a bar chart, but I want a pie chart. I can just type pie chart, and you see a pie chart has come. Okay, so total units sold. If you do not want a pie chart, but you want a donut, you can write that also. So it will create a donut chart. Okay. Suppose you want to see the sales by transaction status. So it is showing you that the profit maximum transactions are profit making. Then we have some loss transactions, and then there are some break even transactions. If you want the same thing in pie chart, you can just type pie chart and it has come. Okay. Similarly, if you want to see the sales by the lot size, you can call it as lot size, and it'll show you in the lot size. You say pie chart, your pie chart. Okay, and you can import this visual also. So this visual has come into your report. Now, let's say we want to have a matrix. Okay, so we are dealing with various countries and various segments. So we want to understand how each segment is giving me sales in different countries. So I can select segment in the rows and country in the columns. And in the value, we can add the sales or the profit. Let's say profit. So here we have got a table wherein this table is showing me segment wise, country wise sales. Okay. So we have different segments: channel partners, enterprise, government, mid market, and Canada. And I can sort the data on basis on any country. So we have Canada, France, Germany, Mexico, USA, total wise, and it's showing me the segments. Okay. So we can create this kind of charts and the tables as well. Okay. And I can put some conditional formatting, like you can see the enterprise is loss making segment in all the country. It is giving losses. Government is the highest sales making segment. So we can say sales analysis. So you can use AI inside BI, AI based visuals also. Now let me show you one more important characteristics of Power BI. Okay, which is a decomposition tree. Now this is the most powerful AI visual ever seen. So in the decomposition tree, what you can do is you can analyze your sales, and then I want to explain it by, let's say, date. So I'll select date, and in the date I just want year. So now I have year. So here I have 2 years, 2013 and 14. It is showing the sales as per year. Now after that, I want to have the sales as per different country. So it is giving me country option also, showing me which country is having the highest sales, and then which country, and then which country. And then I can have the segment wise report, and then the product wise maybe. So when I click on this plus, it is asking me, do you want to see the product or segment? So we'll select segment first. It'll show me all the segments, and in the segment, I want to see the product as well. So it is showing me the product as well. So isn't it interesting? So now the point which I want to make, which I have been trying to showcase you through this visuals, is that when you go to the management with a report of this sort, okay, and you say, okay, I have analyzed your sales and I want to present something, and maybe this will change the way you do your business. Then we can certainly bring some value addition. So you just click on 2013 and it'll show you last year Germany was a country which did great sales. But if we come to 2014, it is not Germany, but it is all Canada and USA. And the government segment has been consistently performing well, being the highest income generating segment. But the profit is coming from the sales are coming from Velo. Okay. So this is how you can talk to the management and gets. So we can call it as sales tree, sales decomposition, sales tree. If you want to do apply some formatting and if you want to change the color or the tree or something like that, you can do that. You can collapse, you can make it responsive. Okay. If you want to change the category label, you can change the category color, make it different colors. Okay. Or maybe dark one. Okay. If you want to change the headers, you can change the color of the header, make them bold. You can put a background color to the headers. You can use conditional formatting also. So it'll give you different colors to the data bar. So we can create a lot of reports, and these all can be interactive reports. Okay. Now suppose I want to have a page navigator. I have created multiple pages. I want to navigate to each page. So simply what I can do is I can go back to my first page, which is a KPI, and I can just go to insert, and insert I can go to buttons, and there is a called as a page navigator. I can select the navigator over here. Now this page navigator will help me in navigating to any of the sheets which I want to. So I'm here at the KPI. I want to go to trend analysis. I'm on the trend analysis. Here also I can introduce the same page navigator. I can put it here, reduce the size a little bit. And now it will allow me to navigate to any other page. In this page also, you can also introduce a page navigator. So each page will be connected to the other pages. So it's a one-time activity. Once you do, you are done. So when you click on any page, you go to that page. Now, once we have done this, okay, now what we can do is we can save how we will learn how to save the report because we would like to share it with the management. So how can we save the report? So we can go to file and there is option of export and I can export to PDF. So it will be a static report, will not be dynamic, but if you want to give a dynamic report to the management, you can take a subscription, you can charge them, and then you can give a dynamic report. They will be able to use the slices as well. Here it will be a static report. But see how it is, how beautiful it is looking, and how interactive it is, and how meaningful the report is. The management will be able to see the uh, the overall picture of the sales happening across various years, various country, various segment, various product based on the report that we derive give them. So I hope this will actually help the members in understanding how important it is to learn Power BI and what actually we can do if we learn Power BI and how we can use it uh, to give the report to the management, to the business consultancy, how this can be used in the business consultancy. Now, apart from this, let me show you one more interesting thing. Okay, let me share my screen again. And Yashwant sir, if we have any questions in the chat by the audience, we can take up some questions as well. Else, I can show one more feature of this Power BI. So there is a feature of anomaly detection in Power BI. Okay, so let's say if I go to the trend chart, line chart, and I add my date field into the x-axis, let's say month, and the sales on the y-axis, I see this kind of visual. Okay. Now what I can do is I can go to data drill and there is the option of drill through and there is the option of anomaly detection. Find anomalies. Okay. So we need to add some more data. Let me add the year as well. So we can drill up, drill down the data. We can see the different period and the different chart. Okay. And now we can do we can insert a reference line. Okay, so a reference line would be an average line. Okay, so it'll show me how the average sales are happening. Okay, what is the maximum sales, the minimum sales. You can shade that area also if you want to. Okay, you can add the data labels to the line. There is a feature of anomaly, but I selected it off so it is not visible right now. But we can do anomaly detection and we can use certain measures, we can create some columns, and there is a lot more to explore in Power BI. But I think for a beginner to get started, this what I've covered, it is anyways very much in detail to get started into the business consultancy. We can just give a overview to the management. When you click on government, every number is changing, so the data is dynamic, it is interactive. This is not possible in Excel. So we can see that the enterprise is resulting into loss. There is a loss of 3%. When you go to any country, you get to understand what is the profit coming from that country, whether you should do the business or not, whether it is resulting into losses or profit. You will be able to understand all this. So with this, I stop here to take any questions if we have for from the viewers.
I see no questions here.
Okay, sir.
So it has been such an honor to be a part of this wonderful webcast on decoding business success, Power BI as a new lens for consultants. Organized by the Professional Skills Enrichment Committee of the ICAI. And on behalf of the committee, we would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to our speaker, Shri C. Alok Sethi ji, for his enlightening session. A wide round of applause and thanks to the organizer, Professional Skills Enrichment Committee, ICAI. Our today's speaker, CA Alok Sethi, and other stakeholders made the webcast a memorable one. Finally, we would like to thank all of you present here and helping us make this webcast a grand success. Thank you, one and for all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir, we can end the webinar.